Zebec network continues to impress with the continuous updates that they constantly release. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one, the only Zebec network, right? There's some new news surrounding Zebec, so we are going to dive into that. We're going to dive into the basics and, of course, the technical analysis because there may be some reversal signs signaling to go to the downside. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, when we go and look at the news, we can see that Zbec has partnered with Turnkey to power wallet APIs and our integrations with major payroll systems. Through Turnkey embedded wallet infra, employees can seamlessly receive salaries in stablecoins like USDC directly inside their payroll dashboard. So we can see, ladies and gentlemen, right? This unlocks easy embedded wallets via Turnkey, crypto payroll alongside bank transfers, simplified stablecoin adoption at scale. Right? Turnkey's partnership will go live with direct integration with major US payroll systems, bringing stablecoin payroll to millions of workers. So, another classic W from Zbec Network. And I expect more W's to be coming out over the next few months. Actually, probably for the rest of time, because this project, it has a lot to do. And there's also going to be a lot of innovation surrounding Zbec Network. Now, we won't talk about this too much, but we can see that they were going to some events, right? Boom, right over here. I know some people are thinking that this project's not even real. Some of these people don't exist, but no, people, they do exist. They do exist. Yes, I understand. One time there was that bad Photoshop editing done, but that was a small minor L. We can forgive Zbeck. Oh, boohoo! Something with Photoshop didn't go the best. Doesn't really matter in the end and in the long term. When we go and look at something like the basics people, we can see that Zbec, right, is currently 146 in the world out of 9,511 cryptos. We are currently at 362 million market cap, 18.5 million volume. And we go to the holders, we can see, ladies and gentlemen, right? We were flatlining for some time, but we can see we did spike up roughly 100 holders, right? 100 holders. And as of today, we are down just a little bit, right? We're just down 9 people, which is not too crazy, but there must be some people panic selling because, ladies and gentlemen, the price has been heading down and it has been showing reversal signs. Now, the reason why I say it has been showing reversal signs is because mainly because of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin in recent times, has been going up higher and higher. Bitcoin was continuously, creating higher lows and higher highs. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we have this low over here, we have another low, and we're continuously going up higher and higher, right? We did create kind of an equal top to this level here. You can see, boom. But then what happened in recent times? Well, we broke structure, right? We broke structure. So there is a good chance of us simply pulling up higher to create a lower high to then continue going back to the downside. Okay. Because we did technically break structure right now. Okay. We did break structure. We took out this low and we also took out this low over here. So, with that being said, it's showing some reversal signs. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be reversing all the way down to, like, let's say 102K per se, but on the smaller time frame, it does show possible reversal. Now we still obviously have to wait for the daily to end, right? Because on the daily, we are still technically doing good. But we can see right away, ladies and gentlemen, that ZBEC did get a little bit of a similar reaction, right? Instantly going down a couple of percent. If we actually go and mark this up real quick, we can see in the last 12 hours or so, we have gone roughly 10%, a little bit more than 10%. So not bad, nothing too crazy. Now, we could technically come back down to this zone over here, roughly around 0.00378, see some type of solid consolidation, sideways movement, and then move up higher. Kind of like the way we were going from like this Wednesday area all the way down to this Sunday, when we're just slowly and slowly selling off. And then we found momentum on the Monday and the Tuesday, right? So we could see something very, very similar where we just kind of sell off slowly. We kind of start going sideways once again, and then we see a pump. Of course, if for some reason Bitcoin decides to continue to dump, then we will be taking out the zone of 0.0035. And of course, at that point, there's a decent chance that we should be looking to go down all the way to 0.003. But like I said, there are still multiple key factors that we would need to wait for. We need to wait for certain confirmation to happen for, pretty much Bitcoin, right? We need to see how Bitcoin reacts. Coin fashion of the day: quitting crypto healed me. Now, this one, see a lot of comments, right? A lot of comments. Don't believe you. F out of here. Back to 9 to 5, kitty. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you sound very insecure. Uh, okay. What a weird comments. But listen, man. Oh, this guy has 226,000 followers. He's making bank. He's definitely making bank. So it's easy for him to say. But for your average person, crypto could be very mentally draining, right? If you don't have the education, if you don't know what you're doing, um, it could definitely be draining. I know even there's people that I know that have pretty good education, even now, like them just simply holding crypto for a couple of months or like a year or so. It's starting to drain them a little bit, right? Starting to drain them. I understand, right? I understand how things can always look. Sometimes things do look uncertain on the chart, even for myself. But then you give it a couple days, maybe give it a week or two, depending on what time frame you're looking at. And you're like, okay, now I see the bigger picture. Because you won't always see the picture with crypto. You won't always see the picture with trading or with, you know, the charts. Sometimes you need to give it more time, right? Not people. That's why people don't trade every single day, because sometimes it is kind of very hard. And if it's hard for people like me sometimes, then I can just imagine what people feel that have zero clue about what any of the charts mean, right? So look, man, quitting crypto, I don't know, man. This is one of those worlds where I personally think, and I think for many of you guys too, won't be able to leave, right? I know a lot of you guys are new, and a lot of you guys still haven't experienced your first altcoin season. And let me tell you, altcoin season is beautiful, and I still believe we are going to have a beautiful altcoin season. I still believe Zbec Network is going to go to the damn moon, right? And it's just crazy, right? It's a crazy thing. I know people need a lot of confirmation bias, right? When we go to something like this, I keep saying I believe this crypto at least hit roughly 10 billion market cap, which is just say 30x from here, more or less. And I know that seems crazy now. I know that seems crazy, but the math is there. How much money we're gonna have in this cycle is yet to come. But I mean, the charts and everything suggests we will have a nice, very juicy altcoin season. And I'm telling you, people, you know, when the world starts to bandwagon on this, when the exchanges, when the institutions start pumping these cryptos because uh, it was going sideways for so long, the world goes crazy for those few short months. Like 3 months it goes crazy. Then those prime times where it really pumps for those roughly 4 weeks, right? Those go super, super crazy. The whole world's talking about crypto. The whole world is in crypto. And then that's when we cash out, right? And then unfortunately for many people, they are going to lose. But I mean, the game is the game. You can only worry about yourself at the end of the day. And this is just how life works overall. So yeah, I know a lot of you guys are sometimes getting stressed. Like I see direct messages, I see people in the Discord, right? The open community. Sometimes they're like a little bit stressed, but I understand, guys. I understand. But look, ultimately, right? Ultimately, things are looking good. All right. Even with Zbec Network, things are looking solid, right? Since we're back on this chart, we're going a little bit back and forth, but that's okay. If this does end up being a weekly candle, then we will be heading to lower levels, ladies and gentlemen. But remember, we do have Fed rate cuts coming up soon, so I expect there to be some type of manipulation happening in the markets overall over the next week or two before we really, really blast off.